whether you're scared to go to dinner in Melbourne.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
What do you think of Peter Dutton's remarks?
Well, look, I mean, it's a big city, right? And there are, as Matt and I were discussing earlier, there are some, not everyone is frightened by street crime, but a lot of people are, clearly. I mean, you guys are all in the media, you read about it. There's no point, and, Michael's a police officer. He's been put, there he is. I mean, Michael is part of Victoria Police that have to keep us safe. Now, he understands that, and people are concerned about safety, and it is critically important that people are not afraid to go out and not afraid to walk the streets. And it is important that the police have the full backing of a government, which Matt will lead when he's elected to government in November, a full support of a government to enforce the law and make sure that the rule of law prevails right across the community, on the streets, in public places, in private premises. That's critically important. So that's what Victorians are entitled to expect from their government. They've got a great police force, needs the political leadership that Matt will provide to ensure that people are safe.
But does the language
one
around
ethnic group helpful?
I'm sorry.
Sudanese gangs this morning.
Well, I was asked about Sudanese gangs. What are you saying? There are no Sudanese gangs in Melbourne? Is that your contention?
It's not my contention at all. It's
okay. Well, there you go. Well, that's well.
But we talk about
well, look.
cohesion.
No. Yes, but you've got to be honest, right? There are Sudanese gangs in Melbourne. It is an issue. Okay. No one is casting any. No one is making any reflections about Sudanese migrants, Sudanese in general. I mean, I've spoken about the enormous achievements of Sudanese migrants to Australia in every respect. On the sporting field and academia, and including in my own hometown of Sydney. But the fact is, there is a gang issue here, and you're not going to make it go away by pretending it doesn't exist. At some point, you've got to be fair dinkum, and you've got to acknowledge that there is a concern. People are concerned about it. It is a community policing issue. It's an issue for the, for state government, for state leadership. And I think really that since you've raised it, I'd like to invite Matt for you to talk about the importance of law and order and policing in Victoria and what you'll do if you're elected Premier to ensure that Victorians do feel safe.
I think it's first important to note that it was actually the Police Minister herself in January this year who talked about a problem with African gangs. It was the Police Minister who mentioned African gangs. So this contention in the last 72 hours that the Labor Party is trying to run, that it's the Liberal Party talking about African gangs, well, in fact, it was their Police Minister in January of this year. And if there is a problem, frankly, I don't really care what someone's ethnicity is. We need to make the criminal justice system apply to everyone. And whether it's gangs who are of people of Sudanese descent or of Irish descent, Ukrainian descent, it doesn't matter. The whole point is that we have a criminal justice system that works for all of us, wherever we're from and however long we've been in Australia.
The Bishop, the Anglican Bishop of Melbourne has written to you concerned about the language in some of the Liberal campaigning. Have you received that letter, or have you had a discussion?
It would have been nice if they'd written the same letter when the Police Minister used the same language in January, or I used the same language in April. I'm a bit quizzical as to why all of a sudden I've received a letter via the media from that Bishop yesterday. I haven't responded to it as yet.
Thanks, so everyone. Specifically, what will you do to tackle gang crime?
Well, we've announced consorting laws, we've announced mandatory minimum sentencing, we've announced bail reform, parole reform, and we'll have a zero-tolerance approach to crime. And there is the train. That'll be electrified in a couple of years' time, this one.
That's a very good note to conclude the press conference on. Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
OK, so that was live from Baxter in Melbourne's southeast. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull talking about investment in rail there, along with Victorian opposition leader Matthew Guy. Also mentioning this story this morning about the LNP's candidate in the Longman by-election, Trevor Ruthenberg. He's apologised for wrongly claiming he earned a prestigious Defence Service medal. The PM just saying there it was an honest mistake. Now,